Hello and welcome to Pizzachan's podcast, episode number 5. How is everyone today? Is everyone doing well? I hope. Hello Coke, and thank you so much for the follow. Killer Bait, thank you also for the follow. Hello Luna, my love, and Monkey. I hope everyone is excited for today as I am. We are having a very special guest. Of course, all of my guests are special, but today is one of a very special guests. MoonrunesV2, I think just called him Moons for short, is an amazing speedrunner and gamer streamer that I fell in love with. Just because of his pure community and energy, and just his vibe is amazing. And we're gonna meet him today, so let's bring him on. Hey, cute bit, welcome on in. Let's bring him on, shall we? Moons, are you there?
I am.
There he is! Everybody, let me introduce Moonrunes. This is the chat.
Hello, everyone.
Look at these cuties. Hi, Alexia. Hello. Yep, so I'm going to be interviewing the great Moonrunes today. How are you doing, Moons? How was your day?
I'm doing great, thank you. It's the start of my my holidays. I've got 12 days off, so
12 days.
I'm feeling really good. It's been a nice day. I had to nip into work though today, so it was a bit like, oh no. Good start to the holiday, but
lots of
apart
streams
from
then,
that,
right?
it's been good. Yeah, I've got a busy week coming up. I've got a lot planned. I got a lot to do.
Well, you were always kind of busy speed running this and that and Dead by Daylight, which I find absolutely amazing. But we'll get into that. So let's first get to know you, okay? Tell us a little bit about yourself and your favorite things.
Well, for those of you who don't know, my name is Moonrunes. I've been streaming for about 2 years now. I've been doing it for a while, and just been really. It's one of those. It's a really fun thing for me to do. But like, I don't know where I'm going with this now. I've just gone off on a tangent.
It's okay, tangent all you want. I don't care.
No, so some of my favorite things, definitely horror. Definitely vibe with a lot of horror stuff. Kind of theme my channel on that as well. Mixed in with a few other things, like you mentioned before, like speedrunning and stuff. I really enjoyed the challenge. So I started playing horror games, and then I started speedrunning because it was just a natural progression for me. I'm not really a competitive person, so it seems like a really odd thing for me to go and really throw myself into, but it just sort of happened, and then it was one of those things. So yeah, really love a good bit of horror, whether it's a movie, a game, or a story. I read a fair bit of horror, although
reader, yay!
recently been drifting into a lot of high fantasy style stories.
Oh, nice.
Just really getting on that vibe of like sort of the anti-hero style of character. Has been really vibing with that recently. So yeah, just a few things about me. I like horror. I like reading. I like playing games.
You're not competitive, so you do the challenge yourself. You're challenging yourself to these speedruns to see if you can do it.
Yeah, it's a weird thing. Like, if you ask anybody and they ask why do you do speedruns, it's to climb a leaderboard. It's to it's a very competitive space. Like, it's all about competition. But I guess I look at it from a personal, like, I do have goals. Like, I set myself goals versus a leaderboard. So I am competitive in one aspect of it. But I meant more in my general life. I'm not a hyper competitive person. Like, when it comes to like just things, if I'm doing an activity with friends and there's a score involved or something, it just doesn't bother me. I'd rather I just go out and do whatever. It's fine. But yeah, it's kind of I'm not super competitive, I don't think, compared to maybe other speedrunners, but you have your goal. Like, you've got that goal in mind, that top 20, top 10. You see it and you aim for it. But a lot of speedrunning is, as every game you speedrun is usually a huge journey from start to question, or start to finish. And I guess there's a lot of learning, and I'm a bad learner. So one of the reasons I wanted to speedrun is because I watched it for ages, online, like through various events and stuff, and I wanted to challenge myself, to do something different. So that's why I started that, and then it just turned into just probably my biggest hobby now. I don't really tend to do many other hobbies at the moment, except trying to crack a new game open and really get through it. But yeah, no, it's one of those weird dynamics where I'm not competitive, but I also, in a sense, probably hypocritical to say that I'm not competitive in a way.
You're selectively competitive.
Yeah, that's probably a good term for it.
So why did you start streaming?
Why did I start streaming? I have no idea really what the exact trigger was to start streaming. I know one of the main reasons was I actually needed a way to record my speedruns. And the simplest and fastest method at the time was to just stream it, because Twitch, it's probably, nobody talks about this, but Twitch actually has this incredible feature where it just stores all your VODs for 30 days, and if you make a clip of it, it'll store it forever. And it's actually like, I mean, it's something that nobody really talks about on Twitch because it's such a bog standard feature, but it when you're trying to do that sort of thing yourself, it's actually really difficult to do, and just Twitch made it super simple for me. I hit a button, I go live, and then anything I need to store, I make a highlight of, and that's there forever. And it was the easiest, quickest recommended way on speedrun.com for me to get my runs verified. So that's kind of the biggest catalyst for it was that really. I was also very much a viewer of speedrunning content. I've been, like I mentioned earlier, I've been watching stuff like ESA, GDQ, smaller charity events for probably 2 decades now. I've been watching them since I was a teen, when it first all started, tiny little events and stuff, doing all that sort of stuff. So yeah, it's one of the main reasons I started. And then somebody offered to help. I was watching a streamer by the name of Soflul, that I'd seen at an event. I think it was Frame Fatales, which was like an all-female speedrunning event. And I was just in her chat, and she was running RE1 HD Remake right as it launched. And I was like, I wish I could speedrun. Like, I wish I could do it. I always thought in my head, every time I watch these guys, I was like, it's crazy. Like, how do these people do this? How do they do this? Like, it's nuts to me. And she was like, I'll help you. If you really want to do it, reach out to me. So I reached out to her, and yeah, she was like, get on Twitch, get recording, and just get going. And then she gave me a load of starting points, and I got going from there. And that's kind of why I started streaming, was not really to talk to people. It was just to record my runs.
That's pretty cool, though. She got you on that track. You do some amazing speed runs, though, with Outlast and Tormented Souls and things like that. It's like, oh my god, you're crazy, man! But yeah, it's so
I picked
cool
up a fair few now.
Yeah. So when you first started streaming, what was the hardest thing for you to do?
You know what? I've developed. I'm not sure if this is just a thing, but in the space of speedrunning, and like, first of all, obviously there's the obvious headaches, like, optimizing the way your stream works, and like looks, the presentation of a stream. So, there's all that sort of things, but probably the hardest thing that I think I've really developed a knack for now is to be able to focus on two things at once. I can now quite easily read a fairly rapid chat and not lose focus on what I'm doing in a speedrun. And it took me, I'm so glad that nobody used to watch me back in the day, because it was one of those things where I'd read a message in chat and then I'd lose my run. And it happened constantly. And then sort of learning that ability to constantly read chat, because if you come to my stream now, there's never a message that I don't read. If it comes in, I've read it and I'll respond to it. And it's something that I think a few speedrunning streams miss out on, because they're so focused on what they're doing, which honestly I totally get. So it was something I trained myself really hard to do, was to make sure I had enough. I don't know, sort of like, it was so second nature to me to read chat and do a speedrun at the same time. it took me a long time to get there, but now I feel like I've got to that point where I can quite comfortably read a quick chat and do any game that I need to do on a speedrun, which is a lot of fun. Now it means you don't miss out on that community, because when I originally started, that was never the point. It was only to record the runs to get it uploaded, and then people just started stopping by and hanging out, and it kind of changed the focus of the channel quite a lot in the past, I would say, year. Probably after 6 months it changed from just primarily speedrunning to being a more community oriented channel with a little bit of, you know, with speedrunning being the theme in the background, which was nice.
It's cool. Looks like you have 2 questions from Killer Bait here. One about which is your favorite Freddy Krueger, Jason Voorhees, or Michael Myers. For Killer, I guess in Dead by Daylight.
Is this specific? Is this like movies or game, or is this specifically for Dead by Daylight? Sorry,
I'm not sure. It wasn't specific. It says which is your favorite.
My favorite, right? I'm just gonna go from like from what I've seen in movies. It's actually I'm not a huge fan of Freddy. I like Michael Myers and I like Jason Voorhees, but if I had to do my favorite, it's probably Jason Voorhees, because there's quite a few memes in the movies, and they're purposely designed to be bad in some aspects, and I really vibe with that, being a bad horror movie fanatic. Like it really appeals to me. Whereas the Michael Myers films have sort of taken on a more serious tone. The Jason Voorhees has some absolute bangers in there that they're just full of fun. I think it's maybe Freddy versus Jason X or something like that. Movie is like absolutely one of my all-time favorites.
Right? It's so good.
It's just so good.
Yeah, I'm a big slasher movie fan, so like Jason and like the old ones like Sleepaway Camp and things like that, where it's like ridiculously cheesy on top of it. I'll watch those for hours. Like, is there something wrong with you that you watch those? It's like, no, I just like slasher and serial killer documentaries. I'm fine, really.
No, yeah, they're so good. And I just really fell in love with that film, because I just had so many weird interactions between the 2 killers as well, like 2 iconic antagonists fighting each other. There's just something that really appeals to me in that.
Yeah.
So yeah,
I have
really
that
loved
in my collection, actually, so I'm very happy you mentioned it.
Yeah, so I would definitely say probably Jason Voorhees is up there for me on those 3.
He also asks, what's it like talking to lots of other people and knowing they're watching you? Like watching you game.
Oh, that's a good one. I guess it doesn't really play on my mind at all. Like, I've been in the fortunate situation to have streamed to huge audiences as part of speedrunning through various events, and that's pretty nerve-wracking. Like when there is a lot of people there and there's a lot of people you don't know. When it comes to my community or people who watch me and new people who come in, I'm actually extremely comfortable with it. It's never been, I've always been one of those people that's never been bothered about standing up in front of a crowd and talking. You know, it's never been one of those things that a lot of people I think fear standing up and talking in front of a crowd, or they have that, you know, they doubt themselves and stuff. I've never really had that reservation. I don't know whether there's something missing. But yeah, I quite enjoy it. If anything, I like having people to talk to. I'm a very social person. I guess I wouldn't say I like to be the center spotlight, but you know, I'm definitely there, and you'll know I'm there if I'm at a party you're at. You know, I'll be there floating around. I'll be talking to everyone. So yeah, I guess it does. I guess I enjoy it, and like it doesn't bother me if I make a mistake on a speed run, because it's like I said, my focus switched from that hardcore speedrunning perspective pretty early on to being I'm hanging out with friends and the community and like people who have come to watch me, and you know, I think knowing that nobody's really there with ill intent, and having like pretty stringent rules in my chat. I've been very fortunate that I've never really had trolls, so I don't know whether I've just skip the
Knock
bucket
on
on
wood.
it, but it's honestly been a super odd thing. Like, I hear these stories all the time from people who I consider like me as a streamer, or have a similar vibe to me as a streamer. And apart from honestly the very odd, I literally can remember every instance because it's happened 3 times in 2 years. Only 3 times in 2 years do I feel like I've had a troll or somebody who said something really inappropriate, or not okay. But yeah, you know, it's an interesting question, that one. But from a lot of different aspects, I would say I enjoy the fact that people are watching what I do, talking about what I'm doing, and also talking to me. It helps me as well because I don't have the biggest attention span, which sounds like an odd thing for a speedrunner to say, but the fact that I have chat and I'm able to read chat and do 2 things at the same time, it helps me. Chat helps me hold my attention on the speedrun a lot more than if I was just on my own doing it. Like, I'd maybe do a run and then be like, oh, that didn't go very well, I'm just gonna stop now. But because chat's there, chat's watching, I'm chatting away, I'm like, right, let's get another one in. I wanna keep going. So yeah, no, that was an interesting question. But yeah, no, I'm super comfortable with it.
I'm too angry.
I think yeah. No, I think you have to have an angry speedrunner is a speedrunner who doesn't get very far. You do need a little bit of like self-admonishment, because you need to know when you've messed up, and you need to be able to accept it and like be like, right, that was bad, you did bad there, you can improve that and you can work on that, you can do better next time. So you really need to, it's a fine line between letting that it is there, like you can feel it sometimes. Like when you especially, I've only had it really bad one time, and that was with Outlast. It hasn't really happened with any other games, but Outlast and maybe a little bit of RE7 Madhouse, I felt like, you know, that like beast inside rearing up where you just want to go with like
rage monster.
Yeah, you just want to go and break a table or something. I don't know. I'm just like,
you always seem all good about it too. You mess up, you're like, oh dang it, okay, we'll try that again. It's like me, I'd be going running around my house so angry. It's like, oh man.
Yeah, it's only a couple of times it's really gotten that far, and I've ended stream. I'm not too big to admit that I have ended stream off the back of failing a run when I was when it hurt. You know, some of them just hurt, and you're like, oh god. Yeah. Like it happened one time with Outlast. I was literally home and dry, and then something just happened. And I was like, and because Outlast is quite fine margins, like, you know, if you gain 3 seconds on a 50-minute run, you jump up 10 spaces. That's sort of how competitive Outlast is. And I just missed time to jump and fell to my death. And I literally, I didn't even say goodbye. I just Alt F4'd everything and shut my computer down, stood up and went for a walk.
It's like, no, I can't handle it anymore.
I was like, I was done, I'm out. But that was after I did like 6 days straight, just grinding and grinding for this PB, and I'd been so close, like honestly 30 times, and every time. And this time I was home and dry. Yeah, I was out. I was done.
Yeah, I don't blame you. Don't blame you. Was Outlast your first speedrun?
No.
No. Okay.
Very few people actually know what my first speedrun. I mean, if you ask quite a few of my older members of community, they'll say RE7, but only the real OGs know that I actually started out on Resident Evil 2 Remake.
Really?
Yeah, believe it or not. Back in the days when I, you know, was streaming to like 2 to, you know, when I was growing the channel from like 1 or 2 people just starting out, all I speedrun was Resident Evil 2 Remake. Specifically Claire A Standard was the one I used to really focus on. And yeah, I did that for months. I have a feeling it's still in like nobody sees me hardly ever play the game now, but if I go and check my stats for most streamed game, I'm pretty sure it's still in the top 3.
Wow.
I literally streamed it that much.
So you prefer Claire over Leon?
I do. The Leon runs I don't like that much. I did submit a time for Leon B Standard. Oh no, Leon. No, I did B-side, Leon B-side. Yeah, so LBS. I did that one as well. I didn't like it as much. I'm not sure why. There's a couple of hallways on Leon B Standard that are just very And I know there's a lot of stuff in Claire A Standard that's like that as well, but Leon B Standard is the one that was the one that really, I don't know, it kind of ended the game for me a little bit. But it is my third most streamed game with nearly 200 hours, so it's kind of crazy. It's actually
B is more difficult than A.
It is. That's why I wanted to do it.
Okay. That's cool though.
So yeah. No, yeah. So it was Leon Claret Standard, yeah, and I still like that run to this day. I did see a really wild stat the other day that it's been a year since I uploaded an RE7 PB. I just didn't, in my head, it's just not been that long. You know, it's just not been that long. So yeah, so I look back
really
at it and I'm like, oh.
It's like, oh,
hello.
Has it been that long? Okay, so
yeah,
you've done Outlast, you've done Alien Isolation, you've done Tormented Souls. What am I missing?
RE7, it should be in there. Village as well, Resident Evil Village.
Okay. I missed all of those. I can't watch it, it makes me nauseous. I get motion sick from watching it, so I can't watch RE Village too much.
I just nearly tried to do a command in your chat then that's for my chat so I can see all my PBs. I honestly, I have a feeling I'm forgetting a game I shouldn't be forgetting. I do multiple categories across those games though, like I do Madhouse for RE7 as well as New Game Plus Easy. I do Resident Evil 3 Remake as well.
Oh.
In fact, I'm picking up RE1 HD Remake this coming week so I can run Remake Trilogy runs. Which is one I do, so I'll do 1, 2, 3 back to back on stream, which will be quite a lot of fun. Yeah, I've got a week off, so that's what I'm doing. That's what I'm trying to do.
Nothing but speed running. Oh boy.
I might do a little bit of DBD. That's my favorite thing to do at the minute. I must admit, I just go and sit there and play DBD.
So horror games are your favorite? Do you like any other games? But it is horror. Horror is your favorite.
Yeah, horror themed. Yeah, anything horror themed. I actually really am a huge fan of small horror developers and smaller indie horror games. I feel like it's one of the better genres to be able to do. Just like an indie developer can make a good short horror game a lot better than they can make a good short RPG. So I actually really love the indie horror space, probably more than the mainstream horror space, which is good. I've got quite a couple that I want to play at the minute by a developer called Amica. I think I've already played 3 of their games. They're really good. They're really good. They're very PT inspired style games, but each one I've played has been very different. And as I've gone through them, I've seen them develop. Like the games have gotten better and better and better, which has kind of been a really cool thing to see. But I started off with the latest one, and I kind of wish I'd have gone in the opposite direction now, and gone with their earliest one and worked through to the latest one, because their latest one was definitely a step up in terms of like visuals and the quality of the tension they build.
Have you done any
really
of the puppet combos? I
have not.
Like Bloodwash and was it Slaughterhouse? They're more pixelated, but they're pretty cool for their genre. There's a whole set of them. You should check them out if you like indie games. I'm an indie game junkie. I'm always looking in Steam for the cheapest indie game and go, let's try this one. And eventually you find one that's like absolutely amazing. Like the one I found, it was called Darkness Under My Bed. You have to go through as a little robot underneath a little boy's bed and figure out what happened to him. It's like monsters and stuff under there. It's really, really cool. Really, really cool.
There's a game that I played a while back I really want to recommend you check out, because I actually played it on one of my, the problem is I played it on one of my like celebration streams, so I played about 8 indie games back to back, and I cannot remember the name of it, but I'll drop you a message about it. It's a really good one that sounds pretty up that vein.
Sadly yes, sir. Sadly yes, I have motion sickness. Yeah, certain games I can't play. I really wanted to play The Suicide of Rachel Foster, but it was wigging me out big time. I was like, ooh, I'm gonna puke. Can't do it. So bad. But yeah, we don't want to talk about that.
Yeah, some of those games are really intense as well.
Yeah, because of the wobble, and sometimes they don't let you turn off the wobble or fix the field of vision, and then you're like, ugh, okay, no, I can't do it. So I couldn't really play a whole lot of 7, which I'm sad because Resident Evil 7 had a different feel to it than the other ones. And 8, it was just like, oh, can't do that one either. So it's like, I just wasted how much money on these, but now I can't play them. I had to refund them. It was so sad. But I get to watch other people play them for a short period of time, which is cool. All right, so what's the hardest thing for you about speedrunning? The hell is that weird ass noise?
That's a tough question. Speedrunning. So my problem, which has always been my problem when trying to speedrun a game, is I am massively inconsistent in the way I am, and I think it's just the way I am as a gamer and I'm one of those people who can play a first-person shooter. I can come in and dominate a match, and then the next game I'll miss every single shot. Like, I'm wildly inconsistent, and it kind of is the same with speedrunning. I can have streams where I'm marginally off pace and I'm getting it and I'm going quick, but then I'll fail something really simple, and then I'll do it again and I'll fail something else that's really simple that I've done 60 times in a row. So I feel like probably my biggest and hardest thing is trying to, I guess, not lose focus and like not just do weird stuff while I'm speedrunning. Like I know exactly what I need to do, and sometimes I'll just miss something, or I'll just jump too early just for no reason, and I'm wildly inconsistent with it. So that has been something that's plagued me since the start of my speedrunning journey, and I think it's one of those things. It's probably a thing that affects all speedrunners. I mean, everybody will do 100 attempts before they get their PB. It's the nature of the beast. You're not gonna get there unless you keep grinding. Like, grinding is a huge aspect, and that is also another hard aspect to speedrunning. Like, you've got to keep yourself focused. You can't get frustrated. It's like we were talking about before. You can't get angry. Anger leads to mistakes. You've got to stay calm. You've got to be collected. Like, you've got to have and especially when you've got to the point where a run is optimized.
Yeah.
So a lot of the games I run are a little bit older. I never really run the brand new games. I find the constantly evolving strats stressful. I like to wait for a run to settle down before I start running it and be very established. I've learned that actually from trying to run some new games. That once I've learned a run, if the run changes, I struggle to adapt as well. That's another problem I have. I hate to pick up new tech when I've already learned a run. I really, really struggle with it because I'm so set in my ways and I want to do it the way I know.
Yeah.
Same with RE7 now. I've left it for 6-7 months, and there's a few little new bits and bobs come in, and I'm very resistant to learning them. But I know for a fact that if I learn them, I could get a minute PB and finally get that sub 128 that I've been saying I'll get for the past, I don't know, feels like a decade now.
I used to not like speedrunners because I'm like, they're ruining the game, they're not experiencing everything, they're not checking out the memos or anything. And then I started watching them. It's like they have to know every little tick of this game to get where they're going in that amount of time. I'm like, oh my god. And the amount of time that they die and go back, die and go back, die and go back. It's like, oh, I would lose my mind. So my respect went from like bottom level to, oh my god, I have total respect for them now.
No, I actually think there's a lot of people who have that point of view, that speedrunners don't enjoy the game, and I'm telling you now that speedrunners will know 99% more about the lore of the game itself, the surrounding lore in the other games, than anybody who plays the game casually. And it's a lot of like casual people who have that point of view, that speedrunners are just, they're not enjoying the game, they're missing everything. And it's only because that speedrunner has put 100 hours into a game that most people only put 8 or 9 into, especially if it's a story-based game, And I've come across that point of view before, not personally at me, but directed at other people who speedrun. And it always bewilders me that point of view exists. I was like, the person you're saying that doesn't like this game is the person who's been playing it for 500 hours, knows each and every point of this game inside out. You ask them where 20 of the 20 coins are from RE7. I can pinpoint at least 19 of them just off the top of my head, and probably get all 20 if I was pressed. And all the bobbleheads. I know where all the lore and notes are. I know all these things. that nobody in their right mind should know, but it's because I'm such a fan of the game. You can't do 800 hours in a game and not love it, but in each and every part of it, it's one of those weird things. But yeah, it's a very odd point of view that I found it always. I pondered it for a while when I heard somebody call it out on Twitter. I was like, that's super weird to me.
Yeah, I was ashamed that I thought that way. Now I have a high respect because they know the game better than anyone because they played it so much. You know what I mean? It's like they have the utmost respect for the game. They love it so much that they have to keep finding new ways to play it. So it's like, why would I even think that?
A lot of speedrunners are also born from that position where they like a game so much and they played it through like 3 or 4 times casually and they put in more effort than most people will already. And they're like, right, what can I do now? Because this is like my favorite thing, my favorite game I've played. And, I've kind of done everything there is to do. So what's the next step? And obviously speedrunning won't be for everybody, but, some people take on the challenge like, right, well, let's do it as quickly as possible. Let's see how broken you can do this game. It's actually one of my most, this sounds really sad, but a pastime I really love is actually exploring RE7 out of bounds. I go and I will sit, if I can't sleep at night, I'll get up, I'll come out. I've got a save loaded where I'm stood out of bounds because there is a point you can do it. And I will just run around out of bounds. I'll try and mess with Jack's AI from out of bounds to get him to push me to a new area. I'll do all sorts of stuff. And I know every inch of like the Baker Mansion. It's honestly, I think it's an odd behavior for speedrunners. I know people way more into it than me, like the likes of Yiddle, for RE7 and Captain Ezekiel. Both of those will go sit in a channel in the Discord and they will stream trying to find new movement tech or minor things, but they'll spend 10 hours trying to figure out this one little point that'll save half a second. So yeah, it's super interesting, the sort of deeper points of speedrunning that I guess you don't see from a casual perspective as well, all that background effort that goes in.
Yeah, I mod for Queen 17 KB. Sorry, I got tickled my throat.
I know Queen.
Yeah, that's how I met you because she raided you, and I hung out in your chat. I was like, I like him. I'm gonna hang out. So that's where I first saw the speedrunning. She got me interested in it, and I was like, oh, I'm gonna watch him. He's doing Outlast. What the heck? So. Like, each person has their own little specific set of strats, things they do, and it's like, oh, this is awesome. This is totally awesome. But yeah, you're right. The casual gamer's like, I beat the game, I don't need to look at it anymore. Speedrunner's like, how can I wreck this game? How many more times can I play? But if you don't speedrun, if you can't speedrun because your thumbs are too fat, that's me. I think of interesting other ways, like I did, what was it? I did no heals. I wasn't allowed to use any healing items, so I don't have to speed run. I just can't use any heals when I run, so I try to do that when I play Resident Evil, because I play it all the time, and my chats get really tired of me playing it, so, but I can't stop, because it's Resident Evil, and I can't stop.
Yeah, challenge runs are just another form of, speed running to it. It's just another way to continue to enjoy a game past the initial story and premise of the game. But I used to, you know what? I used to have the exact same mindset as you, Pizza, that I could never speedrun a game. And now I know 10 runs, and I actually know 15, but I haven't showcased a lot of them because I'm not confident in them yet. But it's like I never thought I'd be able to speedrun a single game. And now every new game I go to, I learn it a bit faster. I'm a bit quicker to optimize. It's like Tormented Souls. I've only speedrun streamed it 3 times, but I already had a much better run in that game than I do in some of my older runs that I spent 200 hours in. So you definitely feel the improvement as you move forward. So yeah, no, it's super interesting.
Okay. What is your top PB for Outlast?
Outlast is definitely my New Game Plus PB. I'm
going to ask you this question because I know you don't have it off the top of your head.
No, I'm just gonna have to have a quick look.
He's like, I'm gonna look at it.
I'm gonna go have a look. So, I would say my most impressive run is the Outlast run, hands down. It is the most optimized and the most like it's very like it's top 30 in the world, which isn't the highest position I have on a leaderboard. But the leaderboard is a leaderboard with 500 runs on it, and
30 out of 500 pretty good, I think.
yeah, for most speedrun games, the leaderboards never really get past 100, even for like RE games. So just to show you how competitive the Outlast game is. So yeah, that time is a 51:25 with 0 glitches and no save and quit abuse, and that is top 29 in the world. My splits tell me I can get sub 51. At that time though, that's less than a minute off world record. So that's just how tight it is in that game. Like I'm in the top 17 in the world I'm 17th for RE7 New Game Plus, which is probably my second most optimized run.
Nice.
But that is like 2.5 minutes off world record. So the difference there you see, crazy. Yeah, like it's so I'm only like 50 seconds off world record, I think, in Outlast, which it's so crazy. But
go ahead, I'm sorry.
Oh no, I was just gonna say that last 50 seconds is the hardest though.
Yeah. Yes. Yes. I was gonna ask about Alien Isolation, because that game is like 14 hours long. What is your PB for that?
I actually run a glitch. I don't like glitches, but I did run a glitched category for that game, and I actually concur. My quickest ever run was 24 minutes and 30 seconds, somewhere around there.
Oh.
I think it was in the 24-25 minute region.
That's crazy.
That was a really fun run. That was only abusing one glitch as well, but basically the premise to that is like, yeah, it's a long game casually, and I think even the all missions runs take like 2.5-3 hours, with glitches. But I do the CC only, which is crouch clipping, so you can basically, there's an elevator that you're not supposed to be able to access to like mission 18. But with crouch clipping, you can basically bypass the blocker for it, and you can hit the lift. And because there's no... Basically, the way Alien Isolation works is off flags, like pretty much all games do. So when you hit a flag point, it'll advance the plot, it'll advance the area, it'll advance the areas you can access. Something will advance that allows you to go to a new area or do something a bit different. While in Alien Isolation, it only ever takes into account the latest flag you hit. So by glitching into the lift and hitting the down button, the flag completely jumps to as if you were in mission 19. Wow. So you go from mission 2 to 19, because the access for mission 19 is actually in area 2 in mission 2. So you just skip the rest of the game. You skip like 90% of the game.
That's crazy. So crazy.
It's really fun. It's a fun run. It's one I don't do a lot because it's super frustrating. Yeah. Which is why I think it's the game responsible for why I don't do glitched speedruns, to be honest. I only really run glitchless now.
Okay. Killer Bait has a question. Is there a game that you want to speedrun but just never did?
That's a good question. I really... So it's not a case that I couldn't speedrun it, but it was a case that I didn't like the speedrun, but I loved the game. And that was Soma.
Soma, yeah.
Soma's one of my favorite games of all time, casually.
Really?
Yeah, I love the Amnesia franchise. Really do. I think they're brilliant. I love the tension, the horror, the way they chase, everything. And Soma was particularly my favorite by quite some margin, actually. And yeah, the games are just extremely broken though, and they're so glitched and so broken that I couldn't do the speedrun. I knew the route. I tried it. I tried hard. I did like 2 or 3 streams. Maybe I think I did 2 weeks worth of streams on it, and I just didn't like it. I hated the speedrun, purely because of the glitches were finicky, RNG based in some extent, and it's one of those games that I wanted to love the speedrun but couldn't. I just couldn't get on with it. So yeah, that was probably the one that got away from me in terms of speedrun. I'm sure I'll come across more in my future where I want to speedrun the game, but for some reason I don't like it. Or, there's just reasons, even though I love the game, I don't like the speedrun. So there is instances of that.
Okay. So, why the name Moon Runes?
Yeah, right. It's a super odd story because I used to go by the name of Seldrin or Keldrin as my avatar handle. And like just for random MMO characters, I had this naming convention where I put a descriptive word and an animal after it.
Mm-hmm.
So all my MMO characters have weird names. Like I don't know. I think my favorite was what was it? They were called all sorts of stuff. My favorite, I think, was Logical Squirrel, though. But so Moonrunes came from me and my friends playing Counter Strike, of all things. We were playing CS:GO, and it was me, one of my moderators, Tramus, one of my other moderators, Mandemson, a member of my community, Coolcon, and another person. We were all in a game, but we had this random in there with us, and he basically was from another region, but in CS:GO, his name just came up in I think it was kanji or something in the katakana, or it was some I think he was Japanese because we did get chatting to him a little bit, but it came up in either one of those alphabets. So we didn't know what to call him, and when we asked him, he just put a load of question marks in. So we just started calling him Moonrunes, and then like 7 rounds into the game, he hadn't spoken, he hadn't said a word. All of a sudden, his name changed in game to Moonrunes.
Mm-hmm.
And so we were like, this guy's awesome. So we all changed our names to Moonrunes. But we couldn't obviously be, I became V2. Somebody else became V3, V4, V5, and I just love the name Moonrunes so much because that's what we said. We said his name was Moonrunes because it was obviously like Japanese or something, but we were having fun, so we called it Moonrunes because it looked quite blocky. So it was a lot of fun. So yeah, and then I just love that name so much I never changed it, and then I kept that name forever now, and I will never take away the V2
behind their streaming name. So
yeah, I always tell people. Everyone always asks why V2 and not just Moonrunes, and I was like, it's like because I ate V1. But it's actually because it's in honor of the guy who the reason I'm V2 is because I can't be V1 because Moonrunes V1 is already out there somewhere. Probably not even using that name anymore, but I'll never tarnish the memory of how I came by the name by changing myself to V1. So I'll forever be V2.
That's cool. That's cool. And you have a thing for beanie hats, I see. That's your little icon. That's cool.
Yeah, I don't know why I started wearing beanies on stream. I started streaming in January.
Mm-hmm.
And January is very cold in the UK.
Mm-hmm.
And so I was wearing beanies all the time indoors because me and my housemate were on one of those terrible houses where you have to pay by the minute for your electricity, your heating and stuff. It's on those little sticks. So yeah, in the UK there's a thing called pay as you go heating and electricity. So basically it's for rental properties. So the rental people don't have to deal with a contract. You can basically, they put a tenant in, they give them a key, and then they go and top it up. But it's not even more expensive, but kind of stresses you out because you put £10 in, even though you use the same amount as anybody paying monthly. Still, like, you see it ticking down, you're like, I don't want to use any heating. So like basically we just used to put layers on instead, and we basically lived as Eskimos inside our house.
Yeah, that makes sense.
So I just used to wear jumpers and beanies all the time. So, and when it came to creating emotes, the first I got a few people to do some basic concept sketches, and somebody drew one with a beanie on, and I absolutely loved it.
Aww.
So I decided I like that, and I want to keep this as a contiguous theme through the channel. And it's only caused an issue once or twice. Like
really?
Summer before last, we had a bit of a heat wave.
Oh.
And it was a bit rough keeping the
bet.
beanie on. So I actually got a black cap now that I sometimes wear, so I cheat a little bit.
It's still a hat.
But yeah, it's become a bit of a thing now that the community never really sees my hair, and it's always a big thing now. But I now, and even though it's not really a problem, like it's there. I mean, it's just hair, but it's just kind of funny that it's like I kind of have to keep it hidden now. I have to keep it hidden so that to keep the mystery alive.
That's cool.
I'm just gonna shave it one day and shock everyone.
Oh my god, no! Don't shave it off.
You
Your
all
head will
thought
be
I had
cold.
hair.
Not
You all
now.
thought it was there. Yeah, it's gone.
Oh,
Look at what you've done to me.
Don't shave it. Your head will be cold. It'll be awful.
I'm getting to the age now. I'm thinning out a bit, so you know it might happen at some point.
Oh, okay. That's fine then. Oh boy. All right. So how long have you been streaming?
I think I mentioned at the start. I've been streaming. My 2-year anniversary is actually coming up in January.
Oh.
It's a bit. I'm in a bit of an awkward timing spot right now because obviously I'm visiting Choco for a while at the start of next year, and so I'm not sure if I'm gonna actually be able to do an anniversary stream at that time. It might actually be delayed by a couple of months. Vis-a-vis, just depends on my plans.
That's cool. You get to go visit them.
Yeah, I'll be there for 3 weeks, at a minimum, really. Hopefully, you know, we'll see how things pan out. But yeah, I'll be there for a couple of weeks at the start. But, you know, I might try and swing it in early January. You know, we'll cheat a little bit and, you know, throw one in at early January, do a 2-year celebration stream or something like that. But yeah, about 2 years now, cool. To answer your question. I say in terms of like regular committed streaming, probably less. And I've actually gone through a phase at the minute where I've got a lot of plans to make for next year in terms of streaming. And I'm trying to work stuff out in the background. But at the minute, I'm not streaming as much as I would like. My stream hours have been down for the past 2 or 3 months. Unfortunately, I mean, it happens when life gets in the way when you're not a full-time streamer. And, you know, you can't maintain that level all the time.
It's true.
But yeah, so I'm on a bit of a downswing in terms of hours streamed in the past couple of months, but there'll be potentially some news coming at the start of the new year. I'm not going to drop any spoilers here, but you know, I'm making plans.
For that. What new things is he going to pop out? Because that's fun. Your channel's always fun. Go and hang out. And I love it. I always have a good time there. I just sit and relax, and usually eating when I'm in your chat.
Oh, me too. Don't worry.
I'm just gonna watch you, and I'll munch my pizza. And it's like I like to hang out. I'm a serial lurker. I'll come in, I'll say hi, and then I'll lurk, and then I'll say goodbye. I do it all the time.
I'm bad for lurking when I go. I've actually made a conscious effort. I actually feel one of the cornerstones, going back to a little bit of an earlier question of, you know, streaming. And I honestly, I make friends on Twitch. I don't see it as, you know, a business. But a lot of people that I know that have kind of taken Twitch more seriously say you've got to start looking at it from a more business perspective. I'm still in that zone of, you know, looking at it from a fun perspective. Like, it's not too serious for me.
I mean, you don't have to look at it. Regard. I mean, I do it for fun. I do it for pure fun. This podcast thing came out of nowhere. So it's like, hey, I'm going to interview somebody because that would be fun. And then I just started, it's like, hey, I should do a series on it. And then it just comes out of nowhere. It's just fun for me. Sometimes the anxiety gets to me, though, because it's like the numbers and the views and everything. It's like, I'm okay, I'm fine. And then I realize it's just fun. So, but you can get it. Yeah.
I was going to say views are a bit of a killer. Sometimes you got to be careful. It's good to review analytics to see, you know, maybe see what's working, what's not, but it's not good to let it run your stream. In that sense, I know a few people who've fallen into that trap and then burned out and not been able to continue just because they weren't doing stuff they enjoyed. And you know, and it's you know, I'm very fortunate. Like, for anybody who knows me, like, well, personally, to know that I have this real problem with this is gonna sound really bad. I have a real problem with caring about things, but not in the way that I don't like care for things, in a slightly different point. That nothing really tends to stress me out, which has, honestly, that sounds like ideal to a lot of people. It's like, oh, I'd love not to get stressed out, but honestly, it has a lot of drawbacks too. Like, I just don't, you know, I've got a deadline coming. I'm just like, I'll get it done. It's fine. I'm a huge procrastinator because of it and stuff like that. So. But in a way, from that perspective, in terms of like Twitch numbers and stuff, it's never really ever bothered me. I've always been like, you know, people gonna stop by if they want to stop by. Tim, they're not gonna stop by if they're not enjoying themselves. So
yeah, I'm a stress ball. I'm a stress ball. Can I borrow some of your I don't care? I asked my husband because he's like that too. He completely doesn't care about anything. and I'm like panicking. He's like, would you chill out? You chill out. He's like he balances me out to normal most of the time. I just want to, I want to chill out, but sometimes I look at the numbers and go, I suck so bad, you know, but.
Oh, yeah, I've said probably not. I have been Choco that way to some like a bit of chalk and cheese. She's a lot more on the ball, switched on with certain things and elements, whereas I'm not. I'm just like, oh yeah, what are you doing today, Tim? I don't know. I'll just decide when I go live. She's like, Tim, you need a plan. You need to know what you're doing. I'm like, I don't know. I'll just do it when I see what I feel like. So no, you can't do that. You need to start giving people a schedule. People need a schedule. It's one thing I can't do is stick to a schedule as well. Honestly, I'm not sure if there's it's a real problem for me that if I have a schedule and I put a game on a schedule, the fact that I know I have to play that game makes me not want to play it at all. It actually kills my vibe for that game.
Oh my god, me too. It's like, I don't want to play it now.
Sit there. I made a schedule once for a week, and I didn't play a single game on that schedule. I was like, sorry, chat, I'm not playing the game I scheduled because I mostly don't want to anymore.
Yeah, I do that a lot. I'll say I'm playing this, and then I'll play something else because I'm just not feeling the game that I put on there.
It's just because I know I've got to play it, and knowing that I have to play it is a real turn-off. I don't want to know I have to do anything. I decide what I'm going to do. This schedule, even though I've made the schedule, it's like me, I've told myself what to do, and I'm like, no, son, you don't tell me what to do. Past him. Past Moonrunes don't get a say in this. I'm going to choose what I'm going to do.
I love
even
that
though it's
so
myself telling me to do something, I just hate it. So most days I just wing it, and I'm just like, right, I'm going to do this today. This is it.
That's pretty cool. Having an argument with yourself where it's like, no, I'm not gonna do that. You can't tell me what to do. I love that. Yeah. So, what non-horror game do you like to play in your off time?
Oh, this is a pretty easy one. A lot of people don't know this, but I sim race. I do like sim racing. My league's just finished up, so I'm having a bit of a break at the minute. But I am on like an ultra realistic system called iRacing. The wheel, pedals, all sorts of stuff. I have, I practice all the tracks a lot. I do all sorts of things. I race a lot online as well. Been racing an official series. I've been racing in a league recently, and I made lots of new friends.
Wow, that's cool.
And stuff, and that's been really fun. But it's good because it's really competitive. But I mostly like just the racing aspect, like driving side by side with other people, and taking an alternative line to take a pass on somebody, and doing all sorts of stuff. But yeah, that's probably something people don't know me for at all, but something I'm really passionate about and love to do on the side. And the second one would probably be survival games.
Survival games?
Really enjoy survival games. I mean, horror often creeps into that, but like it can be anything, like any real simulation game. Like there's one called Star Sector where you command a ship, but it's literally, I love games that just say, they plop you in an environment and they say, do what you want. Mountain Blade Bannerlord is another one I really love. Project Zomboid. The X games are really good as well. They're another space-themed one.
But you
not
said
so much
Project Zomboid.
things.
I love Project Zomboid. Once I learned how to do the controls and the micromanaging, I love that game. It is so underrated. It's
I
so
actually
good.
reinstalled it today.
Really?
This morning, actually. Yeah, I fancy playing it for a bit. So.
Yeah, there was another one that popped up on Steam called Dismantle. That's kind of like 7 Days to Die, but it has a real artistic style to it. You might want to check it out. I'm gonna buy it as soon as I have money.
Oh, nice.
But it looks really good. It's in that crafting, because I like 7 Days to Die. I like Ark. I like what's it called? State of Decay. There's a Project Zomboid. There's a couple other ones there too I get into because I love building things.
Another really underrated one is one called Kenshi. No, I'm actually not particularly good at them either. I actually really struggle in Project Zomboid. I was running a server for 7 Days to Die quite recently. for a few people in the community. I just sort of bought the server for 6 months and said, "Knock yourselves out, guys."
That's cool.
No, it was a lot of fun. Yeah, it was a lot of fun.
Yeah, we did that for Ark for a while, and we had this outrageous, weird village with dinosaurs everywhere. It was disturbing. We had like 2,000 dodos. Why do you need 2,000 dodos? Why? Because we could have them. That's the reason why.
I feel like why not is the bigger question.
Yeah, we got.
Why wouldn't you have 2,000?
Well, I mean, why wouldn't you like a game where you could ride a T-Rex? Everybody wants to ride a T-Rex. Seriously. But yeah, I'm totally got off track there with my game questions, because I was just wondering if you're an RPG kind of person, because I do love RPGs. I suck at them really bad, and racing, don't even ask me to play Forza, because I will crash the car and it will be set on fire. Can't drive. I can't drive in games.
I struggle to get invested in RPGs nowadays. I'm not sure it's because I started speedrunning, but I really struggle to sit down and finish. Yeah, I really struggle. I feel like I get an achievement.
You see, the chat's telling me, do not drive. Do not drive. They've seen me set trees on fire by driving, so they know. They know I shouldn't ever let it be driving. Okay, so what are the future goals of your channel? Are you interested in partner at all?
Yeah, I mean, a lot of people say, oh, they don't want to go to partner and stuff. But I'm kind of the opposite. I support people, like I support the grind to partner, and I like to think that I take my time to do my research so that my channel continues to grow and stuff. And I am actually a person who's interested in getting there. But I also know that people who get to partner have to sacrifice so much in terms of their personal life. Oftentimes you can't do it while you're working a full-time job either. It's very rare that somebody who doesn't throw themselves 100% into streaming can make it to partner. I mean, it's hard enough just to, get past any form of milestone. To grow on Twitch, it's a saturated market, and to even just grow a little bit is an achievement that anybody should be proud of. Going from 1 to 3 viewers to 2 to 5 viewers it's a big achievement. Gaining somebody who's going to come and watch you again and again, and it is a compliment in itself. And I've been at the position where I've had such rapid growth at certain times of my channel that partner was on the cards, but it wasn't the right time, and I knew that I had to kind of throw the brakes on because my work life was suffering or stuff like that. Like, I was literally investing. I hope to God my work doesn't hurt this, because I still work at the same place, but I was investing a lot of my work day into networking through Twitch, hanging out with friends, doing all sorts of stuff and chatting and doing all sorts of things. And as much as there is downsides to streaming, and growth is stimulated by meeting new people. It's just, I think, and it's often referred to as networking. I don't like the term because it feels a bit clinical, but it's basically, you go out there and you meet new people. It's like today, I went and I was like, right, I'm going to sit down and I'm going to go visit 3 new streamers today and get chatting to them and learn about them and say hello and do that sort of thing. So I did. When I knew I wasn't working today, I was like, right, I'm not streaming today. Let's go on Twitch. I went into the RE7 channel. I found 2 people speedrunning.
You still there? Uh-oh. Did we lose him? Mayday! Mayday! We lost Moons! Oh, we lost him!
I'm back.
There he is! That was quick.
What? The call just ended, and then I was like, "Oh, hello, what's going on?" And then you rejoined it. Like, I don't sure if it threw me out, threw me back in. That was a bit weird.
Cool, you came right back. That's the second time that's happened during a stream. Well, it's not a true streamer unless you lose audio or mess up something, so it's fine.
Yeah, I was just vibing, chatting away then, and I was like, "Oh, what do I do?"
So we missed half of what you said.
Where was I up to?
I don't know. I don't even remember now. I was so panicked.
Oh,
like, where'd it go?
I was talking about. I was just talking about like today. My goal was to go meet some new people in RE7. So I sort of like picked 3 channels, varying viewer counts, and just went in there and started chatting to them, and just got to know some new people. So I was like, right, let's do it. And that's part of growing on Twitch, to be honest. You've got to put in the effort outside of your stream. Like, the thing is, if you want to grow like properly to a partner level streamer, you need to invest the time outside of your stream as well as in stream. There's so much that goes into it, and it's a full-time job to do that push and to make that push. And you can get yourself into a position where you can. I feel like I always skirt the edge of it, but I've never felt like the time for me to say, like, look, let's go, commit to 6-hour streams 5 times a week. Let's stimulate the growth. Let's, make a plan. Let's export content to other platforms. Let's do all of this, because it's all one cohesive thing. And yeah, I do want to go there one day. Will the opportunity ever present itself? It's one of those. If I felt like there was maybe a point a couple of months ago that maybe I should just bite the bullet and double down. I'd work my job, I'd work stream, but it would be working 12, 13-hour days at that point. And I decided I didn't want to do that.
Yeah, that's
so
the catch,
it actually led to me easing off streaming.
Yeah, you have to do both. You have to constantly work. It's like, I just recently started working again. So it's like, I used to spend all of my time setting up my streams for that, the schedule and everything, and now it's just like, do I even want to stream today? I just want to lay around like a veal, okay? I'm so tired. I admire those people who can do a job all day and then come home and stream and still be like, hey, I'm this person. It's like, where do you keep your energy pack at? Or you got Red Bull under your chair or something? Because after I get home from work, I just want to sleep. That's it. I want to lay in bed and watch my cute kitty compilations and go to sleep. That's it.
Choco actually says the same thing to me. She's like, I don't know where you get your energy from. You sit there all day. You do your work, and then you come home. I literally have a 2-hour break between work and stream for me. And then I stream. Like, I have set a kind of limit on my streams. Most of my viewers know that I'll stream for about 3 hours. Just because I think it's unhealthy after working an 8-hour job to do any more than that. Like, they would literally have 0 me time in a day. And that was kind of like the point where I was like, I do want to grow the channel again, and I do want to start making that push, because my channel's like evened out recently. And I know it's not all about the numbers, and I cherish my community a lot, which is why I don't think my community ever dips below a certain amount. I have a baseline now, and it never really goes below that. But to attract new people and to grow, there's certain things that I try to aim for. And honestly, speedrunning for me has been what really shot my channel up the rankings a lot, if you know what I mean, in terms of like just really getting me out of the 1 to 2 viewer things. I started speedrunning, and it's been steady growth ever since then, up until recently where I've taken a step back. So yeah, on one side, I do want to take it more seriously, but on the other side, I don't want to sacrifice my personal life and my hobby to streaming. My hobby is gaming. Like, casual gaming is still a pretty big part of my life, and I feel like streaming too much will hurt it as well. So there may be a point where I'm ready and I'll make that push, but I've probably missed some of my best opportunities already, I think, to capitalize on insane growth that I've had. So just gotta keep pushing forward now, and then maintain until the new year, until I've got some big announcements, and then we'll see where we go from there.
It's that secret goal you keep talking about.
Secret.
I'm like, what is that? Tell me. It's like, no, you gotta wait. It's like, damn it.
I've actually purposefully avoided mentioning anything really to do with it on my streams as well, because I don't want to accidentally slip up. But I feel like, we can talk about it here.
Yeah, it's pretty cool.
Secrets.
You see, lots of secrets. Shh. But you do have a really nice community. They're really welcoming, and I mean, your entire chat, it's that cozy. I'm gonna sit down and I'm just gonna watch speedrun, because speedrunning community, some are just, they don't speak to their chat at all. They just go because they're concentrating so hard. But it's like the ones that go, hey, how's it going, and then go back to their speedruns. It's like, yo, respect to that person. Respect, you know. I think that's pretty
No,
cool.
definitely, yeah. I know that I see the two sides of it. And to be honest, that type of speedrun sort of appeals to a lot of people. It's not really my style. I don't like that. I'm like you said, I much prefer to interact with chat. And it's like I said before now, my channel's almost 50-50 in terms of it. Almost sometimes with being just talking, you know, just chatting, you know, and just the game is in the background, but mostly I'm just chatting away, talking about something that's happened in my day for about 3 hours, and then I'm like, oh, time's gone. Right, I'll see you tomorrow, chat.
Tabby! Sorry, I didn't mean to yell in your ear. I love Tabby. Hi, Tabby!
Tabby's a sweetheart.
I love Tabby. Tabby's a great artist, too, so. But,
Yeah.
Yeah, speedrunning community is huge. I didn't know exactly how many people love to watch speedruns. And I'm like, wow, look at all these people speedrunning, you know, because if you look at, it's like this percentage of this and this strat using this. I'm like, what? They speak in their own language. Like, I don't get it. But I like watching it because it's pretty cool. Especially people who speedrun the older games, like the original Resident Evils and that. It's like, what? That's so cool. I don't know. I'm easily amused, I guess.
I wish it's actually something I wish I could speedrun the super old games. But I don't like them. It's the same thing with Soma. Some I love to play casually, but speedrunning them just doesn't appeal to me. Like the OG Resident Evil games just don't appeal to me in the slightest as a speedrunner. But as a casual gamer, I love them more than the remakes. But as a speedrunner, I love the remakes more. I think I'm actually a very modern game speedrunner in terms of what I run. Like if you look through my games, I guess modern isn't the correct term, but at least, you know, we're talking post 2010 3D games,
updated,
you know, that sort of thing. Yeah. So yeah, it's a bit of an interesting one. I know games like Outlast and will probably be considered quite old now. To me, in terms of like games that are speedrun, they are not old. Like, you know, speedrunners go back to all the days of like Lion King. You know, the early Mega Man games are really popular still, and stuff like that. And the OGREs are also still really popular. They're actually even arguably more popular than, you know, the remakes. I just think the remakes are a bit more accessible, so that's why they garner a larger speedrunning audience.
Yeah. I love retro games too. There's always a special place in my heart for the OGs because that's what I found and fell in love with horror. Well, I was in love with horror since I was young, but the Resident Evil games, that's why when I was like, that is the game that I'm going to be in. That and Fatal Frame, been in love with them like my entire life. It's like, you're never going to get me to stop playing them because I love them so much, so yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
I've enjoyed the new Fatal Frame recently. I usually try to have one casual game on the go for stream at the minute because I do want to diversify content a little bit. It's kind of why I've been working in more DBD, more casual games. I don't know if my chat's even really noticed the shift in content, but I used to be 100% speedrunning focus and kind of was a bit reliant on speedrunning for content. But I've learned that I want to diversify to give my stream a lot more depth to it. So there's multiple, it makes it more interesting for people who stop by regularly, and it also introduces new types of people into your community that are not just all necessarily from the same space. So yeah,
that's
I've
cool.
been working
What
in
did you think
Fatal
of
Frame's
I mean, the new
been
Fatal
fun.
Frame is amazing. I've never played it before, so it's like
I've not completed it. I think I'm on, what are they called? Are they called acts? I can't remember what they're called.
Yeah.
Stages?
Yeah. I played it from the first one. It's like, they're so scary. The only game that made me sleep with my roommate at the time because I was so scared. I tell this story all the time. It's like, no, I can't. It's too scary. And not a lot of games scare me because I love horror so much. Unless it's a scarecrow. But I'm scared to death of scarecrows.
We all have our thing.
I don't know why. I just can't handle them, alright?
It always makes me laugh, but I used to have this friend called Alex that I worked with. I say used to, he's still my friend. He just he doesn't work with him anymore, but he is terrified of like large breeds of animals that are larger than their normal sizes. So he's terrified of the large Dutch bunnies.
Oh no, no bunnies.
Yeah, so it's really funny how I think some people's fear works. He's absolutely terrified of them. Like, you know, like any animal that he says is supposed to be small but can grow, like there's obviously some species like within the genome that can grow big, it really scares him. He's like, I hate like big spiders, I hate, which I think is more normal, but he's like, I hate giant bunnies, I hate, like there's a big breeds of cat in the world as well. He said, I hate big cats. He's like super terrified of any animal that he thinks larger than it should be on the average. Bless him. It really makes me laugh.
Everybody's scared of something, and mine happens to be scarecrows, enclosed spaces, and heights. I don't like any of those things. Don't like them.
I actually love closed spaces. I would sleep in, like, I'd love to get like a little cubby hole to sleep in.
It's like, no. If I'm playing Phasmo and I have to get in a closet, I was like, this is a game closet. It's a game closet. You're fine. Like, the game closet, you can breathe, you're fine. But, yeah. Okay.
No, yeah.
What is one piece of advice you would give to someone just starting out streaming?
I always feel this is a very broad question.
It is a broad question, but it's always interesting because everybody's answer is different.
The place I would start that I think nobody ever talks about, there's a whole thing about, fill the silence, do this, do that, do that. And they're all like, I'm like, nah, don't do that, guys. What you want to do is work on the... First of all, you got to work on, I feel like you've got to work on presenting yourself in a positive way. Like, you've got to have a good projection for people to want to sit there and watch you play a game. So making sure you've got that good projection, it's just something that will come naturally with time anyway, but something that I feel like is heavily not discussed by when people go to say, oh, you need to go, they're like, oh, you need to fill the silence, you need to do this, you need to do this. A lot of things when I go to the stream now, and a lot of people I talk to, especially other streamers, maybe this is more specific to other streamers than super casual viewers, but you look at the overall quality of a stream, not just the stream itself. Like, if I go to a stream and it's got a nice overlay on, or another thing I really look for that I really personally think that a lot of people miss is great lighting. Not a lot of people use the amount of compliments I get from new people stopping by my channel that are like, oh, your background looks awesome. The backlight I have, and then really getting your lighting correct can make a huge difference to the quality of the perceived quality of your stream. And they stop by and they're like, oh, well, this isn't just a very casual streamer. This streamer's fairly serious, and at that point you instigate like a feeling that this person's going to be a regular streamer who I can go back and watch again and again. It's not going to be a super casual, like, because sometimes I'll stop by. It's like I said, when I stopped by those Resident Evil streams this morning, like, I know they probably won't stream again for another week, and that's not content I can go and enjoy again for a while. But if I stop by a different stream that has a really good production value or quality, and has a nice setup to it, a nice feel to the way it looks, then I feel like this is the place personally where I can come back, because I know they're going to be a regular streamer. They've got their, they've got the basics down, as in, it does help if you're not just sat in silence, but in the same way, it's sometimes bad if you're just, you're just starting out. You don't want to be talking nonsense at the same time. It's got to be relevant. And you've got to keep it on, and there's various other things you can work on, like people say make a schedule. Like I said, I've never made a schedule.
The moons will argue with themselves, so we can't do that.
It's like one of those things, like people are like, you've got to make a schedule, you've got to have a schedule, people have got to know when you're streaming. I'm like, you don't need to do that. You don't need to do anything specifically. It's all a combination of everything. I think you've got to focus a little bit everywhere. But one thing I definitely want more people to take note on that I don't think anybody talks about is, and this isn't even like specifically to, cam and non-cam streamers. Like, this comment's probably more specifically directed to people who have a camera. But get the lighting correct in the room. Get the lighting correct on you. You need to be the focal point. The background needs to look nice, but you need to be the focal point. You need to get your front lights correct. You need to get your background lighting correct. And to me, if I see somebody who has that set up and has taken the time, it creates an element of crispness and presentation to the stream that I think maybe as a long-time streamer now, I come to appreciate a lot more.
Mm-hmm.
And I said this might not be good to a casual viewer, but to me, it's something that really sticks out in my mind. And this, like, right, this streamer's got, you know, they've taken time and care to present their stream, and there's a nice overlay here. It's like the overlay you've got on today. I love the background twinkles, but I also love the fact you've got a personalized overview for the series like that. Taking the time to do something specific to this one stream shows to me a level of dedication that might not be on another stream.
Oh, thank you. Yeah, each person has their own overlay, so.
Yeah, no, it's that level of sort of, and it looks, you know, it looks way more professional now. It looks like, you know, this is a series you've invested in, you've put effort into, and it makes it come across way better. You know, it gives it that really strong vibe that, you know, I think I value really personally. Knowing somebody's put a little bit of effort into me as a viewer and what they're trying to show me makes me feel way more valued as a viewer. So yeah, I think it's super important to do stuff like that. Like, you know, and it's not feasible. You know, I started off with, you know, a free overlay from wherever and a free thing that I got set up, you know, and a lot of self-done stuff. Like everything I did myself, you know. And I made everything myself and I did it, and it looked very, you know, like somebody who didn't know what they were doing did it. But it was the start of something. And then I was very fortunate enough to have had some very extremely generous people over the time of streaming that have helped me get to the point I am with the lighting, with the, you know, I've got a custom Twitch overlay now. I've got all those things in place. And yeah, and it's just a case of always try and work on your stream and find a way to improve it. Don't just sit back, you know, once you've got your first bits in. I literally have no assets or anything from when I started streaming. And I probably got 0 assets from when I was streaming a year ago to what I have now. So you should always be looking to improve and not just sit on what you have. Make sure you're looking for that next sound alert. You're looking for that, you know, little bit of extra Twitch interactivity. You know, you're looking for that. You're looking to be able to be an entertainer at the end of the day. I mean, that's what Twitch is. It's an entertainment game. And I think making sure that the look of your stream isn't working against you as an entertainer. It should always be complementing you in one way or another. And yeah, it takes a long time to learn. I've only really, I think in the last couple of months got my lighting where I like it, you know, where I feel like I've got the position in the room correct, you know, the lighting in the front of me is well balanced versus the background lights. My background lights aren't too bright, so they're fading out the camera, so it looks shaded. It looks like it's got a, you know, a gray filter or, you know, some sort of sepia filter over the top and stuff like that. Like, there's so much to learn, and I feel like I know way more than I would ever give myself credit for now in terms of like how cameras work. I feel like, but yeah, and stuff like that. So I feel like, yeah, I feel like presenting a good stream quality will mean that you retain a lot more passers-by than versus a stream that has, you know, a lower perceived quality. I'm not saying it's a worse stream. I'm just saying that, you know, it might have a lower perceived quality from a glance, because an impression is made in the first 5 seconds.
Exactly, yeah.
And that impression, more often than not, is visual to the person stopping by. And then, you know, that if they see that and they're like, whoa, well, this looks nice, this looks like a cool place. You know, this is I can, you know, the streamer looks insanely happy. Like, let's give them a chance. Let's listen to them. Let's chat with them. Let's say hello. So yeah, I think that's it. I think generally never stop working on your stream. Always think of, you know, what you can improve until you hit a level where, you know, you feel like you could go to that channel. And like, I'm very self-critical of my channel and the way it looks. So, and I think it's an important thing to be not detrimental. There's 2 different ways to look at it, but you know, you should always be critical so you can improve. You should never tear yourself down, but think about what could be better. And I think it's a really key point to grow in a channel and make when you're starting out. Like, it's a mindset I didn't have that I wish I had, because I feel like I'd have been a million times further along than I am now.
Yeah, it's a lot when you first start streaming too. It's like, I gotta do this and I gotta do that and I gotta remember to do this, and I gotta remember to do this, and I gotta make sure my audio's good, and then I have to remember to go live, and I have to remember to do this, and we have to play games and talk to chat. So it's like, oh my god, I'm gonna be dead. And with as much energy that some people put into their streams, like me, I try to get on stream and be like the super fireball. So I drain all of my energy out in the first 2 hours, and I never usually go on after that because I've already burnt all of my energy. But I'm slowly extending my stream times, which I'm proud of. That's my thing I'm working on, is to be 3 hours instead of 2 hours because I burn myself out so fast. But yeah, I enjoy your audio, Moons. You have very good audio in your streams.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
I can recommend the microphone. I got this micro. I've tried 2 or 3 microphones actually, and I'm not gonna admit I've invested quite a lot of money into microphones. I've got a couple, and the one that really works for me is it's the brand Audio Technica. It's really a basic microphone. I've had these fancy ones. I tried like the Wave 2. I tried I started out with a Snowball. But it was, the balance on it was bad, and then I tried a Wave, and it had a load of gadgets and features, but the actual audio quality was poor compared to, I guess, somebody who isn't an audiophile might not notice, but I'm not really an audiophile, but I know with this gives me a hugely good projection. Like, it really captures my voice really well and captures all the like caveats of my voice, especially when I'm excitable or I'm bouncing around and I'm doing this, that, and the other. You know, there's a lot of things in house. But yeah, Audio Technica, I think this is the USB-C 2020 or something. It's like the ATX 2020 if you're looking for a microphone, guys. It's about £100 microphone, $125 microphone, and it will, you know, that'll be a microphone you don't need to replace until you're above partner. You've been streaming partner for a while. It's literally to the quality of that sort of standard of most partner streamers. So, you know, it's going to be one that's going to see you all the way through from the smallest streams to when you're big. Like, you're not going to have to replace it until it breaks, sort of deal.
Yeah, I've been using the Yeti since I started, but for some reason, sometimes it's really, really low and people can't hear me. And I don't know why. It just randomly turns itself down. It's like, why do you keep doing that? I actually took it off its arm and put it back on my desk, hopefully that people can hear me better. But it's like, geez, it's like, I know I have a booming voice, but I want it to sound better, and I don't want it to break up or pitch or whatever. So, but
yeah,
because I can yell across the room and I'd sound like I'm right next to it. But it's like, what the heck? So I was looking for a new microphone.
Yeah, no, this one I tried, as I said, I tried a Yeti microphone as well, and I didn't have that issue with it. I just had, I don't know, it just sounded tinny to me when I was listening, and like it didn't sound like, it did sound like me, but there was, you know, I know, like, listening to other streamers, I'm like, how do they sound so much like themselves without having almost like a, it's almost imperceptible, but there's something a little off about it. And this is the microphone I found that really works for me. It comes on a little stand. It doesn't pick up too much background noise. It's really good. It's probably the best I've had, and I don't think I'll be swapping away from this particular microphone. And, you know, if this one broke today, I'd order exactly the same one, and I wouldn't go to a different one.
So what lights are you using? The Elgato ring light, or what are you using for your lights?
No, I actually use a combination of I don't use any named brands. Okay. I tried a big light up above me. It was I think one might have been like an Elgato Studio thing, and it was I sent it back. I really didn't like it. It just made me look like it really just washed everything out. So rather than like thinking, so now I use 2 frosted front lights that are independent of my screen, so they're set further back. One of them's quite close, and then one of them's more for the passive glow. And I think it's really important you get dimmable ones, because each and every situation, each and every day gives you a different lighting situation that you need to adjust to. So it's all about getting it. So yeah, I use a small ring light mounted on top of my PC, and then I use a small, it's technically a floodlight, but it's small and not very powerful, with double frosting in to make it extra diffused. And that's what I use for my sort of front light. And then at the back, I actually have 2 outdoor floodlights, so they're designed to go outdoor and like highlight your house or your garden or whatever, or a tree. But actually, I tried a few different things for my background lighting, and those are incredible. And I don't know if you've been. They come with a remote control. They have all different modes. They can do any color I want. My only problem is I wish maybe they connected to an app so I could use them for RGB, but I have like limitations. But they do exactly what I need to do, and yeah, they're nice because you can dim them as well. So I can create the levels of me versus the background, because the background can overpower me, or I can overpower the background. So having that level. So yeah, I currently use about 5 lights in my setup in total.
That's crazy.
Yeah, no, it's going to be hard to replicate this if I ever need to move, to be honest, or get rid of any of this stuff. I don't know where I bought any of this stuff
like,
from.
if I have to move, my entire setup is going to be screwed.
Oh, it's like everything is so hodgepodge. Like I've picked up everything over the course of 2 years. Like I had no idea if I could even buy any of these floodlights again, and I think I'd have a hard time replacing them because they work for me, and they're both different brands. Like my 2 backlights are different brands from my front light. They're like my backlights. So it's super weird. I do technically have my webcam is the Razer Kiyo, and that has a floodlight on it as well, but I don't like that. I stopped using that very quickly. It's not very well designed, in my opinion. I would buy a new webcam though if I had a choice. I wouldn't stick with the Razer Kiyo. Top tip for you there, chat. If you're looking at getting going, don't buy that expecting to use it as a floodlight, because it just washes out the whole image.
Yeah, big tips from a big streamer. Okay.
Well, I won't go that far, but little tips.
You're bigger than this humble chat. Okay, so you're a bigger streamer. So I take all the tips I can get. You know what I mean? But anyway, we're at the last question, Mr. Moons. This is the off the wall question. It has nothing to do with anything in particular. If you won $10 million tomorrow, what would you spend it on?
Well, Ian, there's obviously the answers where you're like, oh yeah, well, I'd buy a house, I'd do this and that. I'd actually contribute it all to, like, if it was just like casual spending, nothing serious, I'd actually build a pristine retro gaming sort of collection. And I would collect a lot of retro games, a lot of retro, and I'd want to get pristine ones. So I'd collect all the old consoles. I'd go back and get like the Mega Drive, Sega Saturn, GameCube, the original Wii, all sorts of stuff. I'd go back and I'd create a huge, almost like a museum. I'd like to create a museum of gaming, I guess. And actually, I guess what I'd do is I would love to run a gaming themed cafe. That has like.
Would they have mac and cheese? That mac and cheese you were talking about?
Definitely, it'd have everything. It would have food, drinks. Because another huge passion of mine that I don't think I really talk about on Twitch is board games, and it would have a huge free board game section. It would have, and this is if I had limited money, it'd have a gaming PC area with like 40 computers, so people come and sit down and play their favorite games. It would have a cafe area for like-minded people to come and chat. There would be a manga section. There would be, there would be all these sections, and I would probably invest a lot of the money into doing something like that, so I could live in a dream job, and I'd probably just live stream the caf 24/7.
That'd be awesome. I'd be hanging out there all the time playing board games, because everybody in my community knows that I'm a board game junkie. I have 26 of them sitting on the mantle behind me. Mostly they're all horror, but I love board games. I don't know why. I just addicted to them, especially since they make them more dynamic than they used to. I mean, there used to be like Monopoly and Clue and things like that, but now you've got these really in-depth games with some of them that work with the iPad and things like that. I'm like, yes, this is so cool. Okay, see, I got off on a tangent now. I'm sorry, but I love board games.
My favorite. I think game like that is. Have you ever played? I'm not sure what the original one is called, but I know it's One Night. As a werewolf, or I guess the computer game version of it is like Salem, Town of Salem. I can't remember what the name of the game is, but I really love that game. and
Yeah,
it's
my
a
sister
little
recently
token-based
bought
game.
me the Shining board game, and I'm like, The Shining? Are you kidding? I love The Shining. It's my favorite book. I've read it so many times. The book cover's coming off of it. But it's like, you got me the board game. Oh my god. And I found out there's a Resident Evil board game. And I was like, I must have this now because it's Resident Evil and I must have everything Resident Evil. But yeah, I love horror and board games. And so I would be hanging out at your little community spot, you know, and playing board games and eating macaroni and cheese because it's all about macaroni and cheese and pizza for me.
That's the way forward.
Yeah, it's kind of ridiculous.
No, yes, I just really love them. I think they're really, it's really, I'd love, because there's never been anywhere like that where I've grown up. I know they do exist, these places. I don't think they're very popular in the UK, so they never really got the, like, there's never really that big place. There is tabletop gaming places, but there's not really like board game places. So yeah, I think something like that. And you know, I think the trick is to mix it all so you attract everybody from this similar sort of walk of life, you know. Make sure, you know, you've got a seating area, a comfortable seating area with, you know, animes on, and make sure you've got, you know, your board game area and stuff like that, and then make sure you've got food and drinks for everyone. And yeah, just make sure everything's good. And I would love to run that and be there, you know, all the time. Like, I think that'd be good. I think it'd be a lot of fun. Yeah, so I'd probably do something like that. Obviously, I don't know if a lot of people here know, but you know, my fiance is American and I'm in the UK. I always say this to Twitch chat, like, honestly, a lot of what goes into my Twitch is put towards the dream of me coming to America, which you know, it's a work in progress at the minute, but we're getting there. And yeah, so going over in February to America. I'm very excited. Go to New York for the first time.
Oh, you're coming over when it's really cold. Why?
I am. I think I gotta get wrapped up. Choco's already bought me a brand new coat.
Yeah.
She's like, I've seen your wardrobe. Nothing. She's like, nothing you have. Like she said, I don't think. She said to me, I don't think you understand how mild British weather is compared to the rest of the world.
Yeah,
like British weather is so mild. Like we honestly sit between like 10 and 20 C for most of the year. And she's like, that's like warm and nice, you know, dude. You have it real good over here. We don't have any weather extremes, you know. The worst we have is like, you know, rain. And even then, because Britain's always rained, like everything's built to deal with it, so we never have like really that bad floods and stuff. So it's just like, she's like, when you come here, she's like, I've never seen more than like an inch of snow. Really, like properly that's stuck. She's like, you know, get ready to see 2 foot of snow.
Yeah.
I'm like, say what?
Yeah. They like to dump snow on us. That and freezing rain. Where I'm from, there's so much freezing rain. It looks like there's a candy coating on the roads. It's like, oh come on, salt please, salt. I don't want to ski to work. Thank you.
I can't wait though. It'll be fun.
I can't wait to come and be frozen. But we have some good hot chocolate though, so it'll warm you up.
I feel like America has like, it's just on another level when it comes to like takeaway food and stuff. So that's what I'm really excited for. Don't tell Choco, but
I won't.
I
won't say
I can't wait to come and try all the crazy good looking food. You know, I'm meeting we're going around New York for a weekend when I first get there, and I've got a few people that I've met through streaming, which is really nice coming to New York to hang out for a bit. So I get to go meet Needle, who's a really good friend of mine from streaming RE7, and we play a lot of games together offline. I might be meeting Wizzy and a few other people from, I'm part of a community called We Stream as well that all live in that area, so I'm very excited. I'm super, I want to try and meet with quite a few people while I'm there.
That's cool. All right, that's all the questions on my list. It's virtually painless. I told you it'd be virtually painless, but at least we know a little bit more about you now, though. Your love of
I hope so. My love of lighting.
You're lighting, and you argue with yourself and things like that. But you have to, if you're a streamer, you have to appreciate good audio and lights and overlays and things like that. And emotes.
Definitely.
Oh my god, I have a thing for emotes. I gotta stop buying them.
Oh, I've just, actually, although these aren't going to be revealed for a little bit yet, but all my Christmas ones are pretty much done now, and I'm so excited to show everyone.
I love Christmas emotes! Yeah. Yeah, it's so cool. But anyway, guys, we're going to end the stream there today. Thank you, Moons, for taking the time to visit my humble chat. I had fun.
It's been a lot of fun.
It's very fun. And guys, if you don't follow Moon, you should, or I'm going to come and find you and boop you in the nose. But there's his link right there. Amazing time every time you go in his chat. Trust me, he's very welcoming and kind, and I just like hanging out there. I guess good vibes. It's all about good vibes with me. But trust me.
That's what you gotta do.
Trust me. So again, thank you, Moons, for coming to visit me.
No, thank you for asking me to do it. It's not often people just let me run wild and chat for 2 hours or an hour and a half.
I hope you weren't running, because that's just too much work.
I try not to.
All right, you can hang on here if you want, or you can sign off, because I have to go and send them on a raid. So that's up to you.
Oof, yeah, I'm gonna go make some food if that's
Oh,
right.
don't say if that's okay. I will never stop you from eating. Everybody knows that I love food. So, but thank you so much. If you want to pop off, you can do that anytime.
Yeah, thanks for having me. I will see everyone soon.
Bye, Moons.
Bye-bye.
Thank you. Wow, that was fun, right, guys? That was fun. Totally cool. Yay, I'm so excited. Okay, I'm done fangirling. I'm fine. I'm fine. I really am. Hype. Okay, guys, like I announced in chat, I probably won't be doing a stream on Sunday because I actually have to go to work tomorrow for cross training, and then I have to work a full day on Saturday, so I'm probably going to be beat. And next week is Thanksgiving, but I'm going to try to do a stream on Tuesday and Friday. I have that listed on my schedule. Not sure what I'm going to be streaming on Tuesday and Friday. Since it's Black Friday, we'll be playing The Division, me and my husband. So I hope you'll be there for that. But anyway, thank you all for joining me today and this podcast, because there's so much fun. We have 3 more guests coming up. The next one will be in December 5th, and that will be I Am Kyle X, who is an amazingly flamboyantly colorful, lovely Scottish bean that you all should know, who has a huge affinity for anything Sonic and Tomb Raider, so you don't want to miss that, okay? And let's see if we can find somebody to pass you off with so I can go eat food because I'm starving. Okay, oh look who's streaming. We have to go say hi to Queen 17KB because Queen isn't been feeling the best, so we should go and try to cheer her up, okay? Because she is a amazing person and she deserves lots of love, so we should go and say hi to her. Okay, we're gonna do that. We're gonna go say hi to Queen, copy and paste a raid message, and you don't have to follow, you don't have to subscribe, but just come and say hi because a little love goes a long way. Okay, guys? I will see you Tuesday. You have a good night. Make sure you eat the pizza, eat the candy, relax and cuddle with your cat because that's the way the world should be. I love all of you. Bye-bye, guys. Bye-bye.